If you are redesigning custom millwork details on every single project, this workflow is about to completely change the way that you work. As an interior designer, you know that bespoke millwork is where a design truly comes to life, but it's also where a lot of our time gets lost. From custom cabinetry and wall paneling to shelving systems, built-ins, and all the details that go into that, many of us end up redrawing the same details over and over again, just slightly adjusted for each new space. In this tutorial, you will learn how to build a smarter, more efficient millwork design workflow by turning your drawings into reusable, adaptable design assets. We're gonna focus on creating a flexible millwork template and add CAD blocks and detail libraries that can be quickly customized so your expertise compounds with every project instead of resetting to zero. I'm gonna be demonstrating this workflow using Rayon Design, where we'll go through step-by-step importing a DWG drawing, designing bespoke millwork cabinetry, building those detailed cabinetry details, applying materials and finishes, and organizing everything into a clear presentation and documentation set all in one place. And as a bonus, you will learn how to use the AI tools built right inside Rayon to speed up ideation, detailing, and documentation. Heading into 2026 without AI as part of your design process means leaving some serious time, clarity, and efficiency on the table. You can go ahead and create a free Rayon account to follow along by using the link in the description below, and go ahead and access those ready-made millwork templates and detail libraries that I will be using throughout this tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started. To show you my millwork design template and why it's so efficient, let's go through a realistic step-by-step process. So typically every millwork drawing is going to start with a space fit for your given project. And this means that you're going to probably start by importing a DWG file, then we're going to edit it and redesign it, and then start working on millwork items and details. So let's start by importing a DWG file just so you know how to do that. I'm just in a blank Rayon model, and over in my hamburger menu, I'm gonna say import and go to DWG, and then we're gonna select our file. So I'm gonna select this import, this millwork DWG file, and it's gonna prompt you with a couple questions about hidden layers. I'm just gonna import it as is. And once we say import, it's going to pop up and kind of give us a preview of what the DWG file looks like. And this is what it looks like. So you'll see that it is kind of bringing in all of the layers and blocks and everything from CAD, which is great. It does ask you to click on 2 different points just so we can make sure that the scale is right. So I usually like to select an opening. So I'll just select these 2 points and it says 1 meter, which is correct. So I'll just say continue, and then we'll just go ahead and select an insertion point and place it right in there. So it looks a little bit busy at this point, but we can easily edit that, don't worry. Over here in our layers, you can see that it actually brings in all of the layers from CAD. So for instance, like this flooring that it has here, like I can just hide that if I want to, select that and just hide that if I want to. So we can kind of like start streamlining this a little bit and making it a little bit more clear to view. And then it's up to you whether you want to actually use the vector lines that it brings in. So you can see like the walls here, like the hatch is selectable, the lines of the wall are selectable. But if you're familiar with Rayon, or even if you're not, the actual like parametric walls inside Rayon are super handy, especially if you're moving walls around in a space, which today we're not necessarily going to do that, but just so you understand that you can do that, you can easily trace these walls to be Rayon walls, and then be able to move them and edit them as needed. So to show you that, let me just go ahead and lock this entire plan. I'm just going to select everything here and say lock. And now I can't basically select anything, which is great, because I want to create a new layer over here. And we'll say new layer, and we'll call it Rayon Walls. And now I can select my wall tool down here and basically just start tracing. So I'm gonna just like select a point, and like literally just start tracing this entire floor plan. Don't worry about like the size of the walls at this point, because you can see that they're not correct. However, that's super easy to change. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select one of the walls that I just drew. And over here under styles, we can change the thickness. So let's say this is like a 12-inch wall. Okay. And I also like to change the color of it, especially when I'm tracing, just to start, just so I can like see that it's different. So right here under fill, I just changed the color. You can also add in a gradient, a texture, actual like image of something if you want, but I like to just start with red. You can also like name it something if you want to. I'm gonna say the plus button right there and add the style, and we'll just call it 12-inch exterior wall. And now what that's gonna do, now that I've like saved the style, it's gonna be accessible again for me in the future, working on this project, and then also I can use it on other projects as well. But what I'm gonna do now is all of these other walls I can see are basically the same type of wall. So if I select that wall and just grab my little pick style and just select the style that I want to basically match, it will easily change all of my walls to match that wall. And then if you have a different style, you can just create a new style, so on and so forth. So like our interior walls might be a different style, obviously, because they're gonna be a little bit thinner and they're gonna be different construction. So if that's better for you, you can go ahead and retrace your entire plan. Now, it could also just be better for you to keep everything as is from the CAD plan. Let's go ahead and right click and unlock everything and just kind of clean this up a little bit more again. So I think for my workflow, it's gonna make the most sense for me to basically redraw all of these walls. So let me go ahead and do that with the process that I just showed you, and then we'll come back here in a minute with a plan that looks a little bit different than this. Okay, so after a little bit of redrawing, restyling, this is what our plan's looking like. So now you can see that I actually have like walls that can move and expand and contract with our design instead of having to worry about different line work, hatches, that kind of thing. To me, this is just a better workflow, but it just depends on what you're doing. So in this example, I'll be showing a design build project where the apartment has already been constructed. So we kind of already have this design, and I was brought in to upgrade the default millwork for a tenant change. So our focus is going to be the master bedroom closet. This is kind of what our space looks like right now, and I'll show you how we can kind of shift some things around and then easily use a template that we've already made to add in a bespoke millwork closet. So as you can see, I've kind of already stylized this plan a little bit, and just to show you how I did that, I will show you how to add a zone to this space in order to get that kind of like flooring look on here. So all we need to do is grab our zone tool down here, and I'm going to just kind of highlight the room. You can see that when I highlight some of these spaces, they turn blue. And that's just basically indicating that it's seeing this as a zone or a room. So if I click in there, it's going to create a hatch pattern for me. Now, similar to our wall styles, if we want to change the style of this, we can just select it and go over here to the fill and select whatever we want. So if you want to do something more realistic, you can select something here, or maybe if you just want to do a simple hatch and kind of indicate a floor strip type of thing, you can do that here as well. Now, I want to maybe make this a little bit more transparent just so it's not so bold. And then once you get it looking how you want it, you can go ahead and save the style. So the plus button right here, we'll just save this as wood floor. And now you can access that any other time, or if there's another space that you decide that you want to be that wood floor, you can always, again, do that pick style, and then it will put that style onto your other floor. So that's how to easily start stylizing your space. And this applies to basically any single shape in here. Any shape can have a style applied to it. I also want to rename this zone, so it automatically just names it zone 8. But if I want to rename it to master bedroom, I'm going to select the zone, and then up here, I can just say master bed and move that around if you need to, anywhere. So now we've kind of got the style of our entire plan figured out, right? So now that we've kind of got our base plan together, let's dive deep into the millwork template. So I'm gonna hop over to our millwork template, and just to kind of explain the structure of this template, we've got multiple different canvases over here. So starting with this first canvas, this is kind of all of the different layouts, all of the different millwork layouts that I have used on past projects that have worked well for me and are easily adjustable and adaptable to future projects. So you can see that a lot of these have like a floor plan type view, as well as elevation and a section. So this way we can easily just grab, copy, paste these into future projects like we're going to end up doing today. So this just helps streamline the process quite a bit. Now, if we move down to the next canvas, this is more details. Details, I always hate drawing details, so it's just so nice to already have these just ready to copy paste as well. Again, we've got mood boards down here. So, you know, this is just kind of, instead of having to go to Pinterest every single time, I just have my tried and true designs here that are easy to bring in. I've got, you know, a couple of different cabinet finishes as well as poles that I use. And again, it's just kind of like easy to drag and drop into my future projects because I know that I'm going to use a lot of the same things. And then on any other future projects that I find something new, I can always add that to my template, and then that way it's easy to grab for future projects as well. And then lastly over here, we've got our presentation space. So this I'll end up showing you at the end, but having this kind of like presentation template already set up so I can easily manipulate it, you know, change out photos, change out views, floor plans, that kind of thing. Just a really easy starter kit to have on hand. Now let's go ahead and start testing some different layouts in our current bedroom. If we go back into our bedroom plan, I already know that we're going to end up putting the closet space on this wall. So I do know that we're gonna have to shift some of this bedroom stuff. So I can basically just window over what I want to move, make sure I only have selected what I want to move, and then just kind of shift that over. And we'll move it over into the corner as far as possible. So that way we have a lot of room here for our closet space. So you can see that that was really easy to do. You could also easily rotate all of this if you needed to, if that worked better, and then kind of change this up. Just whatever works best, obviously, for your design. I just know that this is kind of the starter layout that we want to have for our closet. So let's pop back into the template and see if there's any good closet layouts that we can start with. I already see right here in the center, we've got this multi-shelving closet that will probably work. We also have some other more like mudroom type style, as well as, let's see here, bifold. We've got a corner closet, and then of course like TV units as well. Let's try this shoe cabinet first, even though I don't know that this is really gonna work, but it could. So we're gonna just select it and then right click and copy as export and go back into our model and then just paste it right in here. I'm gonna drop it off to the side, and then before we do anything, I'm gonna actually select everything here and lock it. That way I can easily, like if I'm moving anything or rotating anything, I don't mess with anything that's already existing to remain. So moving that over here, we can rotate it. I can see that I need to get rid of these walls. So we can kind of delete that, and then any other dimensions or anything that we don't need. So let's just delete all of that. And then bring that over here, and we can see that that does fit in the space, but it looks pretty small. Now we could always go in there and, you know, adjust it to be a lot bigger, but I do think that that other closet space is gonna work really well here. So let's just go ahead and delete that and try the closet. So going here to the multi-shelving unit, this is our floor plan right here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and copy, export, go back to our model and paste. And again, everything's locked, so I don't have to worry about that. We can rotate it. I am going to delete the wall detail here because we don't really need that, as well as some of the dimensions. Just clean that up a little bit. I'm also going to group this just so it's a little bit easier to use. So I'll right click and group, and that way it's just like easy to move around instead of having to select everything. So now we can just kind of plop that in the corner, and I think that actually fits perfectly. And I don't have to resize it or anything because it does fit perfectly, which is going to be really helpful for our elevations and sections, because since I didn't have to make any adjustments here, I don't have to make any adjustments on those. So while we're here, let's go ahead and copy and paste our millwork elevations into our plan as well. I'm just going to copy, actually we'll just copy all of these. Copy as export, and then we can just kind of place them off to the side over here. The model canvas is really nice because it's just kind of like your working space. You don't really have to worry about how things necessarily look yet, because we can just kind of grab different chunks of it later when we are presenting. So I'm gonna just leave that up here for now because we might end up using this in one of our sheets later. You can see that in these drawings that I copied from the template, I already have a lot of blocks in here, like these little coats are blocks, these little folded pieces, items of clothing are blocks. But if you want to add to this, Rayon also has a huge block library of more than 10,000 blocks, all in top view, side view. You can see there's multiple different views here, and I'll show you how to access those. So over here in the blocks, you'll just want to go to libraries, and you'll see under libraries, there are a ton of different categories here of different blocks that you can just import directly into your project. Again, they'll have top and both side views as well. You know, if you know that you're looking at bedroom layout or bathroom or kitchen, you can easily look at that here. You can also search. Let's just go to bedroom accessories and bring something in here. So it looks like we've got some blankets here. So we can say open there and see if that looks like what we want. So there's like a top view and a front view. So if I were to want this blanket in my elevation, I can just kind of drop this in here and easily add this to my elevation. Now, if you wanted the top view as well, you could just drag that in here again and just put that top view right into your top view. Again, these are like accessories, so maybe a little bit different, but really, really handy to have. Now, there are also parametric blocks in the block library, which are a little bit different than typical blocks. And these are easily findable in the block library. If we go back to this like kind of main area, in our block library, we'll just add a filter here and just say plus and say parametric. And what that's going to do is that's going to find all of the parametric blocks in the library. And I'll show you here in a second how those are different than a typical block. But you can see this little symbol here. It'll say parametric, and that's how you know that it is parametric. I've got a closet parametric block here to show you. And this will kind of explain the difference. So here, you know, we can see that these are just kind of like shapes that you can easily extend, but it's not scaling all, it just kind of scales as like one unit. Whereas here, if I click on this closet, you can see these little arrows here. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to like add space to the closet. And you can see that everything's kind of moving in scale with each other. There's also scale this way. And you can see that when I scale it this way, it doesn't adjust the size of this rack inside. It doesn't like scale that all together. It just kind of scales the size of the closet. So those can be super useful depending on what you're doing. If you're making a lot of adjustments or need to like easily change something without completely rescaling it, parametric blocks can be super, super useful. Now, one last way to grab blocks in here is through the AI panel. So right here under AI chat, you can actually ask the Rayon AI bot here to create a CAD block. It'll be a top and both side view CAD block of an image or whatever. So if I have an image of something that I wanted to create a block of, all I need to do is take a screenshot of that and bring it in here and ask it to create the block. So let me add in a photo of something here and I'll show you how we can do that. I'm just grabbing an image from my template file in the mood boards. I'm just going to copy as export and paste that into my drawing space over here. And we're just going to tell Rayon AI to create a block from this. Now, I don't know how accurate it will be because there's not a lot of context for it to understand the size of this, but just to show you what it can do. So now that I've got the image in here, I just have it selected and I'm going to say use selected image. And then under tools, I'm going to say generate product CAD block. So I don't have to like prompt it anything. I can just click those two things and hit send. And what it's going to do is create a top as well as two side views of this image. Okay, so we can see over here that it has generated multiple different views of the bookshelf. So we can just insert those to see how accurate they are. So there's our top view, and then we can insert side view, which that looks pretty good. And then front view, so we'll insert that. You know, it obviously interpreted some of these shelving items a little too much, but again, it's a good start. So you can do this with literally any image, like a chair, a bed, whatever, but a really cool way to just kind of like start generating some of those CAD blocks. Again, though, Rayon's block library is already stocked with a ton, so give that a go first. And if you can't find what you need, then that's when I recommend getting into AI. Now, another really cool thing is that you can do with this project is that you can transform any model into a template, a block, or a style library just using this share button up here. So say you do end up creating some, really good blocks from AI, or you find some really good blocks from the block library, you can easily just drop those into a model canvas, kind of similar to what I have here, right? We've got kind of just all these details and blocks dropped in here. And then if you do want to create that as a template, you can just hit share, click on template, and then publish as template. And then that way you'll be able to import that into your future projects to use it again. That's also really helpful too if you have a team that's using, or the team that's working together, and you guys can all kind of reference the same template. Now, if you want to create a block or a style library, let's say that you've created a project and you've created some really great flooring patterns or some really good wall styles. You can always publish that as a style library and again, import that in future projects. And same thing with the blocks. If there are, blocks that, like I said, if you've made some really good blocks from AI, you can publish that as a block library as well. And those can all just kind of be brought in to your future projects. Now, as we've seen, having a template at our fingertips makes layout and redesign so much faster. And now that our drawing process is pretty clear, I'll show you 2 more time savers that make your drawings more impressive and expressive using AI to extract more value from your drawings and create client-ready millwork presentations that wow your clients. So this is how AI is going to help streamline our millwork design here. Let's go back to our project. Rayon's AI panel is going to help you design and visualize your millwork so much faster. You can easily generate axonometric views and create custom millwork blocks. Like I said, we just did that. And then test different material options as well, like different wood types, finishes, hardware, all that good stuff. And we just have to use a couple of different prompts to do that. So this is going to be especially useful if you're in an early design phase when you want to really explore those ideas and show clients different millwork options before actually committing to detailed shop drawings. So let's go ahead and bring a millwork plan to life by creating a 3D axonometric view and visualize some material choices like wood finishes and handles with just a few clicks. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this head-on view of the cabinet to ask the AI panel to create a 3D axonometric view. So we will just hit our plus sign over here and we'll go add screenshot, and we'll just take a little screenshot of this view right here. And then we will also click on tools and say, create an axonometric view from a scene, floor plan, or section. And then we'll just hit the send button. And what it's going to do is it will create a 3D model essentially of how it interprets this section. So here we can preview this image that it's created, which I feel like it did a really good job. It even got our little blanket right there. And we can just say insert image and kind of plop it off to the side here. Now what's really cool is that we can kind of stylize this a few different ways. So first, I'll show you how we can generate just a clay image. If you just kind of want to strip the materials here, we can just select this image and say use selected image and make sure it populates there, and then go to tools, and then we will say stylize and we'll say clay model. So this will kind of strip all of the materials and it'll make it look realistic, but basically just like a gray version of it. Now, while it's thinking about that, we can head back into our template and go to our mood boards. And let's grab a couple of different wood swatches here. So let's grab like just a light one and a dark one. And then I'm gonna copy as export, and we're gonna just drop those into our canvas here. So what we can do is ask the AI to apply these 2 different materials to the 3D model. You can also go ahead and grab some of these holes. So let's grab those 2. Copy as export. We'll paste those in here as well. Okay. And let's go ahead and we'll edit and remove that background because I don't want that. We'll remove the background of this one, say done. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask it to use those materials on the next rendition over here. So again, I'm gonna go down here and say remove background and generate. Done. Okay, so now we've got our 2 different styles here, and oh, it did not like that I was using a different AI as I was doing that. Okay, so let's try that again. So we'll select this image, say use selected image, tools, and then stylize clay, and then we're not gonna do anything related to AI because it's gonna get mad. Okay, so scrolling down here, you can see it basically took the model and just made it a clay model. So we'll insert that. That looks great. And next what we can do is we can select this clay model and then maybe take a screenshot of these materials. So I'm gonna screenshot this little mood board here. And then we'll also select this image, say use selected image. We just wanna make sure that we're like populated down here with the things that we want it to see. And then under tools, I'm gonna say stylize and we'll say render, and it should apply these two different kind of materials to our space. So it looks like it didn't really understand that super well. So let's try selecting this first image. Let's take a screenshot of our materials. And then let's also use our selected image, and we're gonna just try to use the non-clay version. And let's just say like apply mood board materials and hardware to closet realistic style. And we'll try that. Sometimes it takes a couple different prompts to get this actually looking right. And it looks like since it maybe has like some clothing and stuff, it didn't really understand that that was separate from the closet. So sometimes it just kind of takes some finagling. But the nice thing is that you can kind of play around with it, and you can also bring in different materials and just kind of rinse and repeat this process. Okay, so it looks like I did a little bit better job here now. So if I insert this image, you can see that it actually applied that material to the cabinetry and then added my gold poles as well. It's not a realistic style, but what we could do now is select this image and go down to tools. Well, okay, we say use selected image, go down to tools, and then stylize it with a realistic render look and see how it does that. So we'll hit send. And that'll be kind of our final test before we put everything together for our presentation. Okay, scrolling down a bit. So if we insert that one, you can see that we've got a little bit more of a realistic look now. It even put a little bit of a reflection on our terrazzo flooring. So very cool how it's able to do that so quickly. I mean, I didn't have to do any modeling here. All I did was just a little bit of prompting. So now that we've got that all set up, let's bring everything together and create our presentation so we can share it with our stakeholders. Rayon is truly a one-stop shop to go all the way from our conceptual design to construction drawings, millwork shop drawings, client presentations. We can use our paper canvases and our model canvases to set up our drawings and just always have them up to date. So let's just dive in and see how we can put this all together. So again, we're here in our model canvas. This is just kind of like our dumping ground is how I kind of see it. And then we've got our paper canvas. So in our paper canvas, this is where we're going to really have our presentation. You can either start from scratch or go into our Millwork template that we have and grab the Millwork presentation. If we just go ahead and copy all of this and say copy as export and then go back in here and paste, now we've got this all set up and ready to just start editing. You'll see that we are missing a couple of views because we have to add in our views of our floor plan sections, whatever. So I usually just like to delete what we have there, but this is such a good starting point for inspiration, materials. You can easily just change out any of these materials or images just over here in the styles panel. Let's go ahead and add in some views to this presentation so we can get to exporting it. First, I'll show you how to place our floor plan in here. So what we'll do is we'll go to plus, view, and then we'll get a view from our model canvas. And what that's going to do is just dump our entire model canvas on here. Now, if you need to rescale it, just select the view and go over here to whichever scale you'd like. So I'd say 1:50 would fit pretty well here. Obviously, you can see we have some lurkers over here. So we're just going to kind of bring this frame in. I'm just going to hold down my command key and just kind of scrunch this viewport in so we don't have anything lurking around the canvas. And then if you wanted to obviously zoom in to the bedroom specifically, or even, we have our entire millwork drawings in one little area, we can add that over onto this canvas. So let's go ahead and hit the plus and go to view from model canvas. And same thing, we're basically just going to now grab this little section. I'm going to change the scale of it to fit our canvas. So let's see what works best. That looks pretty good. So that's a 1:30 scale. And then again, we're just going to shrink in our frame essentially to kind of clean this up a bit and get anything that we don't want out of there. And now we have a better look at the actual millwork itself. Additionally, we can kind of move these over and bring in a view of our little axon that we did. If we go back to our model canvas, you can either copy paste this onto your model canvas or just add a new view from your model canvas. I'm just gonna copy these on there. So I'll just copy those, go back to our paper canvas and paste those there. Came in a little bit huge, but I'm gonna put both these on there so then that way we have kind of two options to look at. So that'll go there, and then we can just kind of shrink them down as needed. So, you know, this would be option 1, this would be option 2. And just a really easy way to kind of like side-by-side view how different this would look. And then, you know, if you have materials, you could obviously put those on there as well. Like back in our model canvas, you know, I could copy these, paste those. Again, you can just add views. You can add these from a view in your model canvas, or you can just copy paste them here. Just kind of depends, user preference. So, you know, right here, I'll put those next to that, and then I'll put this next to this. And now, you know, we've got two little options that we can easily reference. So let me shrink those down a little bit so they're on the canvas. Okay, there we go. So we got options 1 and 2. So we can easily see, you know, these are our two different options. You can also grab any other details from our millwork template. So back to this little detail canvas, if there's any specific integrated lighting or pole types that you want to copy in there. Again, this is just a copy as export and then paste it into your model. And then you would just drop it on any presentation sheet that it would fit on. Edit anything else in here that you need to edit, and then we can go ahead and export this. So first option is to export it as a PDF or PNG. So up here in the little hamburger menu, you can go to export PDF and export all pages, one page, whatever you need, or do it as an image, do all the pages, one page, whatever you need. So that's a nifty way to export this, but really the best part about Rayon is that you can share a presentation just in a URL link. So that way, you know, it can kind of be like a living thing and it like lives on the web. So you don't have to worry about, you know, emailing different versions of different PDFs and blah, blah, blah. So up here, up in the share button, you just go to presentation, click that little toggle on, and then copy the link. And what that's going to do is it'll take the client to that link and they can view it as a true presentation. So if I hit open, it's going to show us exactly what it will look like when the client opens this. So it is like a true presentation. They can just kind of click through the different pages. They can see, you know, our floor plan. They can see different sections, different options. And again, this just lives on the web, so you don't have to worry about like keeping it on your computer or anything like that. Now you can also just give access to people. So if you want to enter their email, you can make them an editor or a viewer, create a public link if there are non-team members that you want to send this to. And what that's going to do is that will take this person to the Rayon file and, you know, they can see the live file here. So this can be super helpful, especially with your team. If you're like in a really collaborative environment, you can easily share and edit this collaborative model. And that's the complete workflow. Today, we looked at how to stop drawing millwork from scratch by designing with a system, one that helps you reuse layouts, cabinetry, and details and gradually build that millwork library that grows with every single project. By working with templates and CAD blocks, as well as detail libraries in a single workflow, you can move faster in your early design process, visualize material options more clearly, and create client-ready documentation with less friction. Over time, every project strengthens your library and makes the next project even faster. My recommendation is to go ahead and start small. Take one of your last projects and turn it into a template, save your most used millwork details, and begin compounding your work instead of starting from zero every time. You can go ahead and create a free Rayon account using the link below and duplicate the templates that I showed you in this tutorial and just adapt them to your own projects. Thanks for designing along with me. I will see you in the next tutorial.